We'll now move on to the cut selection spreadsheet. When we move here, we can see that we're looking at a bit of a different spreadsheet as to what you might be familiar with if you use the Land Value Calculator version 1. So in this case, we've got an actual massive amount of cuts that we can actually choose from within the second version of the calculator. And in this case, you can actually choose every single cut if you like, which means that our recoveries will increase above 100%. So if you're looking to be able to evaluate the gross margin of an entire carcass, you need to have some specialist knowledge as to what cuts you can get out of that carcass without doubling up. As you can see within this spreadsheet, we've got it in a table format which is separated into each region of the carcass. So in this case, we've got the forequarter region, which is separated into the shoulder, the foreshank, the breast and the neck. And as you can see here, our recovery is above 100%. So this is because I've selected the whole forequarter, 2 different shank types, a breast and a neck angle cut. But the advantage of actually doing this is that when we look at the gross margins here, we can actually see between 2 different foreshank options which one actually has a greater gross margin in dollars and in percentage. And if it actually falls into the negative values, it will be highlighted in red. So it's a really good tool to be able to compare different cuts from the same region. We also can see that within the loin region, we can select between the short loin, the rack and the flap. So for example, if I wanted to select short loin, I'd click on the green cell, click on the arrow and select short loin. If I wanted to go between cap on and cap off, I'd do a similar thing and select cap on, for example. We also have the hind quarter region, which is the leg, and we can select between bone in, bone out, ABO, primal and chump off. We also have a feature on this spreadsheet where we can expand and collapse cells depending on how much information we need. So if we press on this 2-way red arrow, we can see that this will expand out the amount of information we can see to include not only the primal weight, but also the trim, fat, bone, waist, paddywhack and intercostals, along with the skirt. Similarly, if we move along the spreadsheet, we can have a look at our total costs, and we can shrink those or expand those by clicking on these 2-way red arrows. And this will mean that we can see total costs, boning costs and pre-bone costs for each cut as well. If we move down the spreadsheet, we can see at the bottom here that we have a blue table. And this gives us an idea of our secondary products. So things like our fat, our paddywhack, intercostals, among others. And we can have a look and see how much those weigh in total for our carcass, what their sell price is, what their cut value is, and therefore what their GM is as well, or their gross margin. To make further different selections, and a really good tool within the Land Value Calculator Mark II is this dashboard button up in the top left hand corner. When we click on it, it actually will bring up our different regions within the carcass, so our forequarter, our loin, our hindquarter and our secondary products. We can look at our shoulder, our foreshank, our breast and our neck, depending on which of our carcass regions we're looking at. And we can actually alter our sell price within this dashboard. We can also put in our target gross margin and our boning cost in dollars per unit. We can also, at this point, alter our hot carcass weight, our range of our GR, or our fat score, our shrinkage, our yeared model and our breed. So this dashboard here actually shrinks down all of this information into one really handy tool.